Good day, everyone, and thank you for attending this session with me. I'm not one for long intros, so I'll keep this nice and brief. My name is Byron Buckle, and I'm currently an AEC Applications Engineer at Modena Design Centres in Durban, South Africa. It's an Autodesk Platinum partner working in Scan to BIM, software training, technical support, BIM implementation, and a host of other areas. I originally started out in architecture, studying a Bachelor of Architectural Studies at the University of the Witwatersrand, where my passion for rendering began. I then worked in the architecture field for a short while before realizing that BIM was actually the direction I wanted to go and made the switch to Modena. I want to start off with a story that I think many of you will probably be able to relate to quite well. It's always hard to overlook a good deal, and I would often find myself on shopping websites like Wish.com, where products would cost a fraction of the price that they would cost anywhere else I could find them. Many times, I would see the picture on the product listing, like the look of it, see a great price, and I would happily go ahead and buy it. Unfortunately, many times, I would wait for months just for the package to arrive. I would then rip it open in excitement, only to find out that the item in the box was either nothing like the image I had seen, or was a much lower quality than I had thought. This became a very good lesson for me in expectation versus reality. But as you all know, the topic of this session is engaging clients in design with TwinMotion. Many of you, if not all of you, have either used, are using, or have at the very least been exposed to some form of rendering software. And for many of you, renders are probably an output towards the end of the project when things have calmed down slightly and you have some time to put them together, showcasing to a client what their final design will look like just before the construction actually begins. But in doing this, we are missing out on an opportunity to really maximize the power and effectiveness of rendering software. You see, as designers, be it as architects, interior designers, or even as product designers, we all share at least one unique ability, and that is the ability to look at this and in a very short space of time, be able to imagine something a little more like this. Our clients oftentimes don't share the same level of expertise in this skill. This can leave our clients with that same feeling I would be left with after buying products on those extremely cheap websites. That really upsetting feeling after you rip open the box, or in this industry, when you rip open that door, only to find that your expectations were nowhere near the reality. I have seen this firsthand just recently when my aunt was in the process of getting a new house built. At the time, I was an architecture student, and there were several design decisions that her and my uncle were trying to make, ranging from decisions such as the material of the countertops to the actual architecture of the building itself. It wasn't until I threw together some very quick and very basic renders for them that they were able to bridge the gap between their expectations of their decisions and the reality of how those decisions would actually end up looking. Therefore, allowing them to make meaningful choices that would actually align their expectations with the reality. It was one of the many times that I realized the lines that we show our clients on a page, while yes, still giving them an idea of what is happening, are nowhere near as effective as showing them a render, something that they can easily and quickly look at and immediately understand what they are seeing. We can instantly show them the reality and allow them to decide for themselves if it matches their expectations. And so that begs the question, how and why should we be using rendering software to engage our clients in the design and allow them to actually have a good enough understanding of what is happening in the design to make choices that they really want to see come to life? How do we create a scenario in which 5 years from now, the client won't be sitting in that space saying how they wish they had done something differently? Well, we can start on the point of accessibility. Rendering softwares are becoming more and more readily available. And with the rendering software you'll be seeing today, TwinMotion, it is actually being bundled in with software like Revit. In an increasingly challenging global economy, where every cent counts, this means that you are no longer having to spend even more money on top of the already expensive costs of the design software. It also means that the rendering software is becoming directly integrated with the design software. And any of you that use Revit will likely have seen that there is now a TwinMotion button within Revit. This makes the entire process more user-friendly, more accessible, and more seamless for you as the designer. Let's delve into how this actually starts translating into the rendering process. We have features like the live link, which make the process of going between design software and rendering software seamless. As you can see in the video, I have TwinMotion open to the left and Revit open to the right. With the live link enabled, any changes I make will instantly sync back to the real-time render without the need of having to export the file and start over again in the rendering software. While this makes our lives easier, it is also a feature that opens up the possibility of having the clients engage with the design. The client is able to see the rendered design, ask you for a change, and within a few moments, you can make that change within the design software and have the client see the effect in real time. This allows them to see the effect on the space and allows them to determine whether they are confident that this will meet their expectations. It is relatively minimal work for you as a designer, and since the changes are being performed in your design software, there is no need to go back later on to adjust your drawings. While on the topic of changes, there are several changes that are oftentimes easier and more efficient to do within the rendering software. If we think of aspects such as materials or objects, these are likely to be common things a client is going to want to change quite often. The materials allow us to show the client a variety of aesthetics in the space, while placing the objects down can help us to give clients a sense of how the space can be utilized. As you can see, these are quite easy to do, with simple drag and drop mechanics, allowing you to quickly make the changes in real time alongside the client, and therefore to instantly get their opinions and feedback. The great part is that with software like TwinMotion, you already have quite an extensive object and material library. And in the rare event that you cannot find your desired object or material, there are tons of websites you can access where you'll be able to download thousands more objects or materials for absolutely free. Therefore, negating the need for you as a designer to sit and spend additional time on a project that is probably already taking up most of your time. Once we have our designs, the rendering software is great at exporting still photos and walkthrough videos, both of which are relatively easy and quick to set up. However, if we are working through these renders alongside the client in a real-time setting, we may not really be using these too often. But our clients will often look to get feedback from their friends and family, and the ability to provide them with these still images and walkthroughs is a great tool for allowing them to further engage with the design through discussions with the people whose opinions they value most. And while sitting with our clients and walking them through the renders is a great opportunity to expose them to the design, we can take this a notch up. With the increasing accessibility of VR headsets, rendering software like TwinMotion makes it incredibly easy to enter the space. With TwinMotion, it is as simple as hitting a single key on your keyboard, and your client can instantly be teleported directly into the design, giving them an unparalleled experience of the space. It allows them to experience the topics we previously discussed. And in the case of materials and the environmental conditions, it actually allows them to change it themselves. At the end of the day, if we are trying to engage our clients in the design, what better way to do so than to throw them straight into the design? Up until now, the session has been all about how you can engage the client and how it is becoming easier for you as the designer to do that. But we haven't really covered the when yet. When do we use our rendering software to engage the client? And the answer is throughout the process. We often look at renders as a final product, a glamour shot to showcase the design in all its glory. And yes, a render can and often does do exactly that. But you would have probably noticed that the renders you've seen in this presentation have not really been those ultra-realistic renders that we would throw out towards the end of a project. They haven't been those final glamour shots. And the reason is because that isn't really the point of this topic. The point is that we can use the rendering software right from the point that a design is merely a concept. As you can see, the river model on screen is a very quickly put together model. This is not something we would really be wanting to show the client yet, and is still in its very early stages. But with tools like TwinMotion, we can take that very quickly thrown together model, and using filters and other effects, we can quickly and easily create a good looking conceptual model that still allows us to do every single one of the things we discussed before, meaning we can still instantly make changes and have clients see the effects through the live link. We can still place materials and objects and instantly give them a sense of the spatial experience and aesthetic. And yes, we can still put them directly into that design with things like walkthroughs and virtual reality. And this is a continual process. As the design is refined and detailed in the modeling software, our render seamlessly keeps up, allowing us to keep engaging the client with a more and more refined and more accurate render. This will eventually lead us towards the early stages of those glamour shots that we always associate rendering software with. In the interest of showcasing how this takes minimal impact on your time and resources, I won't linger on the next topic for too long, as it does start to stray into the area where slightly more significant amounts of time will be required. But to give you an idea of how extensively we can involve the client in the design process, we can actually use TwinMotion to give the client a 4D simulation, showing them the building through the various stages of construction, allowing them to not only feel more involved in the project, but also to give them an understanding of what lies ahead and the timelines associated with that. And then, yes, at the end of the process, we can still use the same software to produce those final glamour shots that we all know and associate rendering software with. And while they haven't been the focus of this session, they are still a valuable tool for engaging with clients, and arguably one of the most important tools we have in the modern day, especially in terms of reaching clients that we don't yet have. These renders can easily be posted onto social media or used as marketing tools to attract clients into our firms. And so if you were hoping this would be a session where you would be seeing incredible photorealistic renders, I do apologize. But like I said, that wasn't the point of this. The point of this was to show you that the same software making those incredible photorealistic renders can be used in a quick and seamless way throughout the design process to bring your clients into that design discussion and to give them a voice and an ability to make thoughtful decisions about the spaces that they will one day occupy, and to make sure that when they open up that box, their expectations have been met. Thank you for your time.